Hey guys, howdy y'all. Just come back for a little chat. I just opened all this really awesome stuff from Kelly, and you can see the boys love it. They're having a really good time playing with their new stuff. Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm sorry I had to kind of cut it short on the last one, but my battery was dying. When I looked to see how I was showing you these little things, it was almost fixing to cut off, so sorry about that. So yeah, I just thought I'd come on here and have a little morning chat since I was all set up for it and feeling like it. I thought I would. So, this weekend I'm probably going to do some paintings. I'm really wanting to do a pull string painting, Stock Marina. And I think my husband was going to work on a couple for my son's office. And so maybe Monday I'll be able to show you some paintings. I'm just going to try and catch you up on what I'm planning to do on my channel. I'm wanting to do something a little different for story time. There's a book, this is it, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like a children's book. This was the first book, chapter book, that I ever remember reading as a child, you know, that wasn't just like a little story or something. This is the first one I sat down and read, and I can distinctly remember doing that. I remember reading this book. I remember like laying in a shaft of sunlight and just reading this book. This was the first book I ever like went through changes with the characters. Like I would feel sorry for them, or I would like them or not like them, or grow to like them more. This is the first time I really put myself into another person's position, like the way the main character is at the beginning of the book. She's really terrible. She treats people terribly. You can't hardly blame her because of the way she was raised and stuff, but she's a horrible brat. And her character develops. It has a very interesting arc, you know. And I think I was about 7 years old when I read this book. And I distinctly remember, you know, just being so absorbed. This was one of the books that made me love to read because I was so absorbed in it. If I had to quit reading it, I was, you know, aggravated, and I wanted to get back to it as soon as I could, and I couldn't put it down, and I wanted to know what happened next. And of course, you know, it's a child's book, and as an adult you can pretty much kind of guess how it's going to go. But to me, as a child, this was one of the books that really made me love reading and made me invent a world in my mind when I was reading a book. Also, it's about Yorkshire, England, which I've never been to, of course. And when I read this book, I had never heard anyone speak Yorkshire, and or, you know, really English, you know, Britain English. I don't know how you really say that, but I'd only ever heard people speaking American English. This has lots of stuff in it that's like phonetically spelled, trying to be like their dialect. It's like a real broad accent that they have. But as I can't do a Yorkshire accent, I wouldn't be able to really know what that was. But it seemed so strange and exotic, you know, and it just seemed like a different place, a whole different world. And of course this book happened, it's placed a long time ago, at the turn of the century. I mean, I think it's like 1900 or something like that, 1890s or something. It's a period piece, but yeah, so I want to read this on my channel for a story time. It's going to be a little tricky because I can only do 15-minute segments, and some of the chapters are going to go a little longer than 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to break it up a little bit, and instead of introducing every section, I think I'm just going to label it and put the information in the description and just start reading. Like, I'll read the title and I'll read the chapter, and that's it. I'm not going to greet you or thank you for coming or anything like that, because when I'm done with these, I hope to make a playlist where you can just put this on and play it, and I will read you the whole book without any kind of interruptions. So that's what I'm trying to do. I've been reading it, and I've been kind of timing myself reading it out loud in sections to see how long it will take. Also, I can't speak Broad Yorkshire. I don't even exactly know what it sounds like. So I'll be reading this in my way, in my broad accent that I have. I hope that doesn't sound silly or take you out of the story. Marina, I know. That's my Stroppy cat. She's mad all the time. So, yeah, I want to read you this story. I love this story. This story made me love reading. And I hope you like it too. Still, to me now, it is an interesting story, and I know what's going to happen. I was reading it a little bit yesterday evening, and was all into the story. Just, oh, you know, what's going to happen next? And I know, you know, and it's a good story. I love to see the character development in this, and I really think that you would enjoy it too. I particularly, I mean, I just fell in love with the characters. I remember just being in love with Deacon, the little boy that comes in and becomes her friend. I remember thinking that he was just like, you know, fantastic, and wishing I had a little friend like that, you know, and that we could go on adventures like this and discover a secret garden. It seemed really, really cool to me as a child. And as an adult, you know, I look at it in a different way, kind of as a literary critic would, you know, and it still stands up. It's still good. You know, it's dated. There are things that are not really PC, but I'm hoping that, you know, whoever's watching this will understand that and try to bear with me as far as the accent goes, because I really can't do anything about that. But it is a fantastic story that I love, and I want to share it with you guys. So I'm going to be attempting to do this in segments. If the chapter is short enough that I can read it to you in 15 minutes or less, then I will just list it as that chapter. But if I have to break it up in 2 or 3 pieces, it'll be like chapter 1A, chapter 1B, chapter 1C, because I want it, whenever the playlist is done, I want it to just, if you go in there and you choose this playlist, I want it to just read you the whole story, because I know a lot of people don't have time for reading and enjoy listening to stories while they're doing chores or driving, or, you know, whatever it is that you're busy with your hands, you're busy with your eyes, but you're not busy with your mind. You know, some of that, like when you're doing the dishes or folding the laundry, or, you know, whatever it is. I particularly like listening to stories when I drive. I like audiobooks, and I like to listen to stories when I drive. So yeah, I'm going to read Secret Garden, because this is a warm-up for me to read Alice in Wonderland, which is my goal for Christmas. I'm hoping over the Christmas, New Year's season, I can present Alice in Wonderland. And this is in the public domain. Alice in Wonderland is in the public domain, so there shouldn't be a problem with it. I've always loved Alice in Wonderland. It was so strange and different and odd and sometimes a little scary. Although Alice never seemed afraid. She would get discouraged and she would feel sad, but she was never scared. In any of the situations she was in, she didn't seem to be afraid. Although I haven't actually read the book in many, many years. So I don't have a hard copy of Alice in Wonderland. And there's 2 actually. It's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. So I will be getting both of those, and that's going to take a lot of practice, because there are songs and rhymes and little things they say that I don't know how to pronounce. I remember when I read Alice in Wonderland to the kids, I had to look up treacle, because I had no idea what treacle was. Now apparently treacle is kind of like, it's a sweet like crumble, maybe like brittle, you know, kind of like brown sugar candy. That's the general idea I got, was what treacle is. I'd never heard of it. All my life I've never heard of treacle. And there's a part in that book talking about a well, like a water well, that is a treacle well. That was so confusing for me. So there's like 100 things about Alice in Wonderland that are confusing and odd, and it's going to be a challenge to present in a coherent way that you can follow, but I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to practice with this. So far, I've only done fairy tales, like short fairy tales. I started with the Grimm's fairy tales, which are dark and weird and violent and don't usually have a happy ending. Which is what I think really attracted me to fairy tales in the beginning, is because the Grimm's fairy tales do unexpected things. Then I moved on to Andersen's fairy tales, which are a lot lighter and happier. They have a whole different feel to them. I wouldn't recommend the Grimm's fairy tales for children these days at all. They're very dark. And the Andersen's fairy tales, you know, most of them I think are fine for kids, you know, that it wouldn't scare them too much or, you know, cause them to question things. You really don't want them to question right before bed, you know, like Grimm's do. But as much as I love fairy tales, I kind of want to do something a little bit more robust. And I thought, since this was the first book I read in my life and I loved it, this would be the first book I read on my channel to you guys. And I hope you like it. I hope I can do it justice. I know if I were an English person and had an English accent, it would be way, way better, way more authentic. But I can't help what I speak like, and so I'm going to do the best I can. So if you are going to come with me on this story journey here, that's an overused word, journey. Sorry, I was being sarcastic. But if you're going to listen to the story, you know, and it bothers you that I have a deep Southern accent trying to read an English novel, I totally understand. It may be ridiculous sounding to others. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to present this story, and I hope you love it as much as I always have. I did and do. And after I get this under my belt, I think I'm going to go and purchase a copy of Alice in Wonderland, and we're going to try and do that for our Christmas special. And if I can, maybe I'll slip in a little Charles Dickens, you know, the Christmas Tale with Scrooge. I love that. Sorry, these cats they are everywhere with these new toys. But yeah, I was hoping to maybe do that one for Christmas, but I'm not sure. I know I'm going to do The Secret Garden first. I'm going to begin working on that soon, very soon, maybe even today. And after I get this done, I'm going to do Alice in Wonderland, possibly both Alice in Wonderland stories. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I have another little quick thing I want to ask you guys. Do any of you guys use this stuff right here? This is a drink additive called Mio. And this is the fruit punch. Stop it, Vent. Oh my gosh, these kittens. This is, you know, they're just flavor drops you put in water to make them taste good. And I don't use them, but I'm getting some for a friend. So if you use these, let me know what is a good kind. What is the most, you know, tastiest kind? Because I've never had these before, and they have a zillion flavors. And I'm going to try and choose out some flavors. And I don't have anything to go on because I don't really use these. So if you use water drops, tell me your favorite kind of water drop down in the comments so that I can pick some good ones for my friend. Okay, so I'm thinking that's going to be it. And I hope you enjoyed our little chat, our little coffee talk. And thanks for joining me. And if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. And welcome to my neighborhood. Y'all be super sweet.